excused. Cause you're always late, overweight, and totally rude, honey.
Number 21.
Hi.
Hi. Number 21. Welcome to the fun.
Yes, fun.
Fun. Now I'm about to tell you guys about my turbulent week.
Yes, tell us about your week.
I had a really good week starting off. I felt very creative. I felt very motivated. I made a plan on how I was going to tackle the week, and I was doing it. And I was trying to write every day. I was trying to, come up with different ideas and use the idea for Bloody Muddy and maybe change it up a bit, because when I started to write it again, even though if I had the full outline of it, I didn't enjoy the process, and I feel like it was because it didn't really, have a soul, if that makes sense. It
Sure.
felt very, I don't know. If I'm not having fun writing it, I feel like people wouldn't have fun reading it, and so
Yeah,
I tried to start it from a different direction. And then, since it's Thursday, right, later in the week, I don't know, school's just kicking my ass, and I feel very disheartened in my pursuit of my AA. And I spent from 1 o'clock in the afternoon till literally right before I sent everybody out the email for the podcast, just trying to get through doing the work and motivating myself to do the work that, I don't know, it's every fiber of my body didn't want to do it, and I was really distractible, and I went on a walk, and even that didn't help. I had a cup of coffee, and that didn't help, and I don't know, it was just really hard and unproductive.
What are you going to school for? What's your goal?
I'm getting an AA in medical science, and then joining BC's nursing program, and...
Are you excited about that?
Oh...
You don't sound excited about that.
I am.
Maybe that's why it's hard for you to study.
I'm almost done with my major. I literally have less than a year and a half left, and I can get an AA. And that's this semester, next semester, and then maybe another one. And so I just want to finish it, even if.
What does that mean? What does getting your AA mean? As far as what are you gonna do with it?
I can use it to get kind of low time nursing jobs. I could be a school nurse, or I could work at an office.
Or you can get into a 4-year university.
Yeah.
The AA is a stepping stone into the
Yeah.
university world.
But, what job are you trying to? What's your dream job? Is this part of your dream path, or is it just something?
It's just something to make money. Just something to discipline myself in.
I would back off on having the whole thing about dream jobs and stuff, because your life is going to change.
Well, that's why I'm asking her if she's not excited about the material. Is she excited about what the material, studying all that, will bring her later, or is
it just the class? Is it just the class?
It's just a class. I feel
just one
I'm
class?
more hands-on. I feel
hard.
Physiology and microbiology is gonna be miserable, because they're just miserable subjects to try to learn.
Okay.
But hands-on, I feel I'd be much better, in a situation, especially because nursing, if I was working in a hospital, it'd be a lot of talking to people and dealing with scenarios, in real time, instead of
a book.
what microfilament in your whatever does whatever, I'm not gonna have to answer that question day in and day out. I just have to answer it right now.
Let me give you a suggestion that I heard Aaron Sorkin. I heard an interview. He's the writer of West Wing and the social media and all that. And he was talking about. They said, "How do you get yourself motivated when you're not motivated?" He goes I take 6 to 8 showers a day, because it takes. And he wasn't bullshitting. He doesn't do drugs. He doesn't do anything like that. But he says what he tries to do is fresh start, get a fresh start. The very words that you were describing, he almost said the same thing. He's trying to write an episode or something, and it's just, he's been doing it for 30 years. He's bored out of his freaking mind. He goes, he takes showers, he goes in, puts on a whole new set of clothes, comes back out, tries again. In other words, and I can relate to that because I have to change my environment. I go to the beach and read, and I come back, and then I go to the club, but I don't go there just to work out. I'll sit in the parking lot and read pages. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he used to go to Caro's to write at like different times of the day.
Really?
I remember when we were
I'd
younger.
fall asleep. Sometimes they'd find me asleep at Caro's.
Yeah.
I'd go and I'd get just coffee and read or write. I forgot about those days. But the point in all of this is, if you're stuck and you're sitting there and you're not having any fun, get up, move around, go outside, leave, take a shower.
Jump off your dock.
Yeah, why don't you just jump in that water, Christin?
It's kind of not
do it.
clean water.
Huh?
It's not
So what?
exactly clean. It's
Hold your
full of,
breath.
Like, oil and like trash.
Then you gotta take a shower.
Yeah, then
Yeah,
you
then
come
I
back
have
and
to
take a shower.
Yeah.
That's fun though. I mean, sounds like a lot of water. But hey, I would love that.
I'd love
Especially
to
if I had a
jump
really
in
cool
go to the
shower.
beach and jump in the ocean. The ocean is like 10 10. I even got a wetsuit
Well-
now, so I could like.
You're almost done, is what it sounds like, right? You only have 1
Yeah.
year left, and then you can start in the workforce in a
Mhm.
job that excites
Mhm.
you.
And just remember, what I hear you saying is zero dopamine.
Yeah, it sounds like you're bored out of your mind.
Yeah.
And remember I
That's so
mentioned those L-Dopa pills you could buy on Amazon?
Yeah.
Have you tried that?
Every time you tell me, I'm like, oh my god, yeah, I love that. But then I keep forgetting to go order some.
Well, I'll have to remind you
I
every
gotta-
day.
I should pull
Part of the broad of this podcast, and we didn't start off by saying what it is, but this is about supporting one another who have, disabilities like dyslexia or ADD, and so what? You have it. It's like, fine, now get over it. You got to live in the real world. Like Kristin's in the real world of the savage world of reality television. You let up for a minute, and I'm making this up, Kristin, right? But if you sit on your haunches, they're gone. They're off onto the next, platform, right?
Yeah, it's quick, fast-paced life. But it is dopamine creating. It creates dopamine, so
Yeah, the
at
fear of
times I
losing
enjoy it a lot. But most of the time I'm stressed out as hell. But it's giving me dopamine. So the dopamine doesn't care if it's stress-related or
No.
it's just doing its thing.
But the problem is that the kind of dopamine Kristin's talking about, that fear-related or the stress-related, for you guys, no problem. You're young. If I kept doing it, I'd end up with all kinds of health problems. So
Yeah.
you don't want to make it just about creating stress. I brought the point up with what Kristin does because she's in a stress environment. Her environment is stress-filled. The television, especially television, is really, how many reality shows are there now on television? Must be hundreds, right?
It's like on the internet
Yeah,
or
just
on
all-
television. Because I don't know either. I don't know the answer, but it's a lot.
It's a lot,
Hundreds, millions,
hundreds.
probably. I don't know.
And you're all competing for the same half an
Attention.
hour.
Yeah, luckily different audiences. Most of the time, different shows have different audiences. But
Sure.
Jesus, yeah.
But you're competing. You're competing for that.
Oh yeah, it's constant competing among every department, even like
Oh.
so. But anyway, back to you.
Well, this is good, Kristin. What's really cool is, so we've got Rebecca, who's just starting out. We've got you, who's on this. You're on the treadmill, running like a tiger, and then you got me, like at the end of the machine, the end of the stress mill, kind of jumped off. So we got kind of all three.
We're the trifecta.
Yeah, it's like a trifecta. That's cool. But it's and yet all of the problems are still the same. I mean, what you're describing, my hardest thing is motivating myself, because I've got the money. I mean, I've got the money to pay the rent and pay the food and stuff. I mean, I don't have extra money. I mean, there's money I want, but I don't, it's not like I'm in the throes of, I got to make it or I'm out in the street. If I'm in that mode, first of all, I wouldn't be doing this. You wouldn't even see me, right? I would be like churning and burning, you know. I used to go into a real, you know, full on
Work cave.
work cave, yeah, where
Work cave
people weren't allowed to talk. And Christin,
Yeah, that was fun.
it was terrible. Yeah, because I
On the
didn't want
phone,
them.
we're being kids giggling,
Yeah,
trying to make our own fun. And he's like trying to feed us by, working and selling.
No,
I'm
I get
talking
it.
to-
My dad's like
I'm-
that.
I'm
90%
talking to
of
guys
the
in
time.
New York that, think I have an office, and yet I'm, sitting in my shorts
Yeah.
in the living room with.
Oh, he would get so mad at us.
I know, but you guys would just do it on purpose. You're like, "Hey, Dad, what about?" And I go, "Jesus, Christin."
And then we start doing, because we were so bored. Then we start like, what about this? And he'd be like, "Are you?" Like he couldn't say anything because he was on the phone.
So I'd have to like,
Eventually, like he hired this also chick to take us to like the creek and fun places like that during the day to help. But that was after he did all the like setup of his business, his own company. But he loves writing, so
I
that's
did that
kind of
was
the important also point of this whole thing. Is Dad loved what he did for a living. Like,
yeah, I still do. I mean, right now, I told, before you got on, I told Rebecca that I just rented. Well, no, I told you too. I just rented What's Up Doc because I want to watch the midpoint break of the movie. It's exactly 45 minutes. Well, now most people in the world could give a shit less where the movie breaks, but for me, it's like, oh my gosh, I want to see how they did it, so I can,
yeah,
and then I go back and I work on stealing mouth.
because he loved it. 'Cause he
I do.
loved it.
I love the
Also, it's
process.
kind of impressive when people hit all the beats,
Well, it just what excites me is out of nothing. I mean, in face of all of the things that like if you listen to Jordan Peterson trying to live a creative life, forget it. It's like less than 1% ever make it. Nobody sells their books. You can't get a movies made. If you listen to guys about buying scripts, forget it. You're never going to get that done. And yet, the first one I wrote,
Yeah,
I sold.
yeah.
And
That's why you
yes,
shouldn't listen to people that tell you you can't do that
you can't listen
do
to
that.
people, Chris. You
because they're
can't.
idiots. What do they know? Everything's made up anyway. We're all just trying to figure it out together. Do what you love.
I've created a positivity monster. It's called Christin. She won't let me get negative. She doesn't. She's like,
Well, I don't have power over that. You
"No, you don't."
call me upset quite a bit, but I do my best to help
She's
bring you out.
she's like a sponge. She absorbs everything that I've ever said ever. So I
Yeah.
can't get away with anything with her.
No.
But
That's perfect.
I mean, you do. You get away with tons of
Yeah.
stuff.
sure,
You can't even get away with saying that, Larry.
can't get away with
Well,
something. Okay.
no.
But my point is, if I say something to her that's off, she'll go, "Wait a minute. Are you coming from," like she was asking you coming from your head or you coming from your heart? Oh shit. I was trying to make money. It was coming from my head. When I'm trying to sell something, trying to make money, trying to get through it sucks. I hate it. No dopamine. I want to, go shoot myself. If I'm doing it from the heart, as we say,
Good purpose. Yeah.
and what that has a lot of meaning. From the heart means I really love doing it. It also means there's meaning behind it. Like I want to do this stuff. So I've got a place for Kristen and her husband and Logan and his girlfriend and everybody, you guys, to come and stay. So that's a great motivation, you know.
Yeah, family.
That's from the heart. But guess what? I wake up in the morning and it's like, oh, shit. You know, it's not even worth it, you know. No one's going to call me. And then suddenly out of the blue, you know, my doctor friend calls and he goes, you really have talent. Your paintings are so great. And I just like, what? I'll tell you another thing I just got today. Just when I'm feeling like so down, this is the advantage of having 50 books, I guess. But I got a Facebook message. I go
over 50 books.
Yeah. And this guy says, I'm reading Death in the Ashaw Valley. Your introduction punched me in the stomach. I'm like, what? So I wrote him back and I said, what do you mean by punched in the stomach? He goes, well, you know, I'm a Marine. I've done 6 tours in, you know, Afghanistan, Iraq, all this stuff. And I'm retiring. So he's been in for like 30 years. And he goes, what you said was, you know, the concept of the after, you know, what about afterwards? And he said, because he's been in the Army, Marine Corps long enough, he sees all of these unintended things, like the unintended outcome of having all these people still stranded in Afghanistan, the unintended outcome of the Taliban or of ISIS or of all these other things. You know, we kill the Taliban and then ISIS shows up. You kill ISIS and then, you know, Moochie Poodly Dooley shows up. You shoot Moody Poodly Booley and then some other boogeyman shows up.
Careful.
Voldemort.
That's not I'm not talking in African, in Uganda slang, as Uganda pirates. I'm talking about the Lazula tribe that's from Ojai, and they live up in the mountains.
Okay.
Anyway, what I'm saying, so rudely interrupted, was
Yeah.
Hey.
so what did I do
the fire
with this little positive thing?
Together.
I sent a letter this morning. I wrote my list of the things I want to get done, and one of them was to my publisher at Penguin Random House. I said, hey, I just got this interesting message from this guy, and I wanted you to read. So I sent it to her, and I said, you're responsible for me doing, being able to do a new introduction. And this guy, it punched him in the stomach. That's like one of the best reviews I've ever had, because it says more than just, oh, your writing is so good. I really like the way that, and then that crap. It was like,
hey, that's what I say.
Yeah. So what are you guys laughing at? So out of the blue, something like that will happen. And that
reminds you that you impact other people with your writing, and it is good. It's not good. It's like powerful to the point where someone feels like a punch in the gut when they're reading a book. Like, what?
That's amazing. I know. And of course, I don't think, I almost wanted to interrupt you and say, well, it's not that big of a deal, because it is a big freaking deal.
Yeah, hello.
And I'm saying this to Rebecca because right now you can't see any value in this crap you have to do. So you're going to have to make up a story of why it's so cool.
Well,
that's why I was trying to find out what her goal was with this class.
Create a new story.
I feel like I have one, which is how I got so far, but when I get down like this, it's just like it's not enough. Like I think, what if
her goal, her thing,
in life, because right now I have a family, but I'm not like a mother or anything, or like taking care of anybody else. But like in the future, say, if I had kids and then my partner tragically died and I don't have an AA, I don't have anything, and I'm just living off my art, what if that's not enough sometimes? And it's like, I don't want to have to struggle. Like, I've seen so many people in my life struggle when that happens. Like, I want to be able to, if I want to fall back on something, that I can support myself with. But
which would be school. Did you say school nurse?
Yeah,
or a nurse.
or get a bachelor's after I get my AA, or
To become what? A doctor?
a nurse.
A nurse. No,
Probably.
No, I
probably a
understand.
nurse.
I understand. I'm just trying to like a different level of nurse.
she's trying to get.
Yeah.
She's trying to expand this thing to make it. How can we make it exciting? Right, Kristen?
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to do?
Getting your RN
Yeah.
in AA, you can only get so many jobs, but getting your RN with a bachelor's, you can get it expands your horizons.
Or is your ultimate goal to be like an ER nurse, like just helping tons of people all day and like quick, fast decisions making and like
Emergency room, an emergency room nurse.
life saving,
I would probably be most happy in one of those scenarios, just because.
Really? Wow, that's
Well,
impressive.
I volunteered at a lot of medical centers.
Well,
Well,
you're
not a
flying
lot.
around blood.
I
and
guess
stuff?
I volunteered with my dad, and I volunteered at a hospital when I was in high school, and I worked in kind of more like a high-paced area in the ICU versus the records room. And the records room, I was sitting there filing these papers, thinking to myself, I would rather die. I would rather do anything else. I could slam my head into the desk. And not if you're watching this, Dad, nothing against your office, but so boring, so mind-numbingly boring. I was filing old patients' things back into his filing room, and oh my god, and then just shredding some papers, and then filing and shredding some papers, and
I'm almost ready to kill myself.
I'm falling asleep right now.
Yeah,
so what part of it you like?
It requires just enough focus, especially because I have dyslexia, to put all those things back properly, because if you don't, then somebody might not be able to find a file, and then that patient, that real person, is screwed now because they're losing all this information from a doctor's office that they can't get back. And so you could ruin somebody's life.
Right.
It's so boring.
Yeah.
You can't go into autopilot because you might mess up. And you can't not to go on and on about it, but go on and on about it.
What part of the job did you like? Why do you want to be a nurse? What part do you like?
I liked working in the ICU because I got to talk to patients, and
is that intensive care?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the DOU, the DCO, I don't know. They were kind of a combined ward, but I really
Dead on arrival. Good.
I don't remember what it's called. They had two things that were basically connected in the same hallway, and I was almost like janitorial staff because you're a high school student. There's not a lot you can do, but I would also get to talk to patients and wheel people down.
Have you ever gone to a pediatric ward?
No, I haven't.
Lots of babies. You want to get
that was every
motivated?
Single girl who was volunteering wanted the pediatric ward so hard, so I didn't get the opportunity to do it.
When Kristen was born and when Logan was born again, every time you go to see the babies and they keep them for a couple of days, they're there, and I was the happiest I could probably say was the high part of my entire life. I mean, I had an epiphany on the floor because I'd stayed up all night when your mom gave Kristen when she was born, and I would come back and I just thought, I'm going to go and I'm going to do this every day for the rest of my life. Drive down to, I live in Park City. I was going to drive down to Salt Lake, go to the, where they have the babies, and just look at them. So I'm sure that would wear off, but oh my God.
I don't know. That's how I feel in pet stores.
In pet stores? Yeah. Stay out of those pet stores, Kristen.
Puppies. I can look at those puppies all day long. Yeah. Or I'll come across a baby on a Instagram thing and it's stretching, and I'll just rewatch it 50 times. It's therapeutic.
Yeah.
We're built to respond that way, so we take care of the babies and the cute things.
That's part of
the bad thing about working in the pediatric ward, though, is sick babies. I heard if babies are real cute and you love them, then the second you see a sick baby or a baby who suffers from instant death syndrome, people take long breaks from working in the pediatric ward because you can't handle
death is awful.
Yeah.
There's no
you hear these nurses right now that are dealing with COVID and they're stressed out to the max. I mean, being a nurse is the last thing on my list of what I wanted. would want to do.
Yeah. Shot for all the nurses and healthcare
Yeah.
workers out there. Woo!
I actually
It's an
enjoyed,
impressive job. You got to be a special type of person to be able to handle all that.
Yeah, mad respect.
Yeah, because you're going into a real big girl job. Like, if I mess up, nobody's gonna die. They might not enjoy a part of the show,
That's the
but who the fuck
dopamine,
cares
though.
about that? That's nothing. It's like low stakes, low stakes.
Mhm.
You're going into high stakes, high dopamine, high crash. That's
Yeah.
impressive. It's honorable.
Thank you.
It's very
Or-
honorable.
The fun
other
part
thing
of
you
working
can
at the
do-
hospital was
The other thing you could do is invent your job. You know, right now you're living in what they tell you, and you think that's the way it's supposed to be, and it's all outlined in the manual and the book. And to get your AA and your dog day and your Kippy Bay and your PhD and all of these things follow a certain rules and pathways. But I've never followed that shit, and you'll find lots of entrepreneurial guys that have made it really big. You know, they drop out of college because they go, this is a waste of time. Why do I need to memorize organic chemistry when right now I can just go, Alyssa, what's the compound for hydrogen? You know, you just say it.
And
Just get it.
honestly, if you're a doctor and you're confused about something, like, you're not gonna look it up.
You're
I
not
don't
gonna look
believe
it
that for a second.
And what's wrong with that? You should look it up. I want my doctor to
with
look
all these
stuff up.
freaking tests. Yeah, like, you want
Don't
him to go
protect
back
his
there
nose.
and think off the top of his mind what it is? Hell no. You want him to go back there and look at his medical
Yeah.
textbook and
I don't.
Right,
Yeah,
that's
I'm not
exactly
impressed
what
by
it is.
memory. Like, cheat,
Yeah.
please. If it's involving my life, cheat all you want. Google the shit out of it. Ask
Yeah.
10 people that know what they're talking about if you don't.
consult other doctors. You know, they should redo. Sorry, not to. I
Well-
just did an exam. I just did an exam for physiology, and I couldn't help but think that, one, you should be able to use your notes, and that should be part of looking things up efficiently, should be part
Yeah.
of it, because you're probably going to do that. You're not going to memorize all these things by heart for the rest of
We're
your
not
life.
computers, for
And
God's
half of
sake.
this stuff, unless you're a microbiologist and you're working in, like, cancer research, you're not going to need to know where, what cytoplasm, what enzymes react in cytoplasm and not in the mitochondria. Like, you're never going to need to know that for the rest of your entire life. You're going to forget about it the second
Yeah.
you leave this class. And you should be able to work in groups on tests, but in the
'Cause you
sense
do it
that, like,
In the hospital, they work
well
together.
with others, because you talk to all
Bro-
the other doctors about it, right? I
Yep.
mean, that's how it's
Notice-
gonna be.
Notice how she's come alive now?
Now that I'm
Yeah.
angry.
We're reminding her of her motivation of why she's signed up for these classes to begin with.
Well,
That's-
she's inventing. She's also looking at
Well,
the bullshit.
You need-
Yeah, you know,
I
as
mean,
you're talking about,
healthcare, you kind of need those books. The Threshold Guardians won't let you be a doctor if you're not credited with the right credits.
You
I
get it,
have
don't
to
push
be a
doctors.
parrot who can, like,
But-
recite a medical textbook. It's like,
then let me interject a story, and I don't have the exact story part of it, but I've got it
Yeah,
pretty well memorized, and I can remember it. It used to be there was like 7 things that for a guy that would have a heart attack. There was 7 signs, or all these different signs. Well, that's fine for like somebody that's living in a nursing home or somebody down the street. But if you're in a submarine and a guy has a heart attack, and you're in a world, like a U.S. I forget what class, like a major atomic or nuclear submarine, you're underwater in the Bering Straits. You can't just come up and take the guy off the ship. You know, you've got to be able to find, because what they would have is false positives, false evidence that the guy's got a heart attack, and it turned out he didn't have a heart attack. So this one guy that was on the submarine, he was a doctor. He wasn't even a doctor. He was like an ensign with a little medical background. Figured out 3 things that told him that the guy had a heart attack. Not 6, not 10, but he just came up with this, and now it's accepted throughout the whole medical community that there's,
what?
3 things. But it came out of out of a program where the guy was restricted, underwater where they could not surface. So you couldn't make those kind of mistakes, but that just came out of his own creativity, and also his observations, because he observed, so many of these things and then put two and two together. So I say that because you might go off in a different direction that you have no idea that you're going in. Right now, you're just doing the place marking, classes that you've got to take. So get through it. Yeah. And even if you get a C, who gives a shit if, 20 years from now that you got a C on a course?
I have to get at least a B.
Okay, get a B then.
Or I can't go into the program.
Oh.
But I've been getting B's and A's.
What program?
In college.
What program is this?
Nursing program to get your
nursing program
in Ventura College. They have a really good one.
So you're getting B's and A's anyway, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't let myself drop below the threshold, and I've taken like anatomy too, which, to be fair, was harder than this class. It's just I'm just getting sick of all the school.
Yeah. And the other part of it, you're gonna have to just, I hate to say this, but toughen up. Yeah. I see so many young people today that aren't tough. They're, the minute that something hard hits, they stop, or they'll use an excuse or whatever. And
it's true. I mean, like, I don't know, I feel weak. I feel like I can't handle this hard situation.
Well, no, but first of all, that's all in your speaking. Yeah. You saying you can't handle it, you can't handle it. I mean, Chris and I have gone through some stuff, especially like rehab stuff, where it was hard. And a lot of it is, I heard a lot of conversations that were actually bullshit. There were diagnoses that were absolutely not true. This was by professionals. And yet I knew that was, had nothing to do with who Christin was. And she proved it, right? Or am I getting too personal?
I mean, yeah.
I mean,
yeah, but I'll tell you what, if someone, it's a delicate thing, the language we use, and motivation for me often, I'm never motivated when someone tells me to man up and just do it or toughen up.
Okay.
Because first of all, we're talking about dopamine stimulation, right? In a boring book situation.
Yeah.
Which is gonna probably be a lot of the job that you're in school for, to get into another program, to go to become a nurse in that program, right? So it's like, yeah, you could toughen up and just
I take it back.
Or if your body is seriously that shut down and bored by this stuff, maybe it's not the right avenue.
Right.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's a weird comparison, but the other night, I won't tell you who, but one of my friends was like, yeah, I've been seeing this new girl. It's great, but just, I'm not physically aroused by her. So I take a pill.
Take a pill?
Yeah. And I'm like, well, first of all, your body is telling you you're not attracted to this person. Why are you forcing that if it's not there? Why are you punishing yourself? Don't drug yourself so you can pretend everything's fine. Like, I don't know. There's just like so many tiny little nuances in life with every conversation we have, especially us three, because we're going to talk about whatever comes to our mind. So there's like several different things that just like bang, 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 bang. And I'm definitely ADD. So I was like, okay, but then that leads me here, and then that leads me here. And then most people think I'm crazy because they're not paying attention to what everyone else is saying.
And how easy it is to take one of those hard-on pills. It's just really simple.
Yeah.
And guess what? I don't take it when I'm 74.
Neither do I.
I mean, I guess.
And Rebecca doesn't take any of them.
The closest similarity I can think of would be Adderall. Like, for students that are so fucking bored, they have to drug themselves in order to pay attention to what they're studying because it's so boring.
I stopped
But-
taking Adderall when I entered college, and I can't tell if I regret it or not yet. I mean, I feel really proud of myself, but I don't. I've kept A's and B's without it, but then there's some times that are like this where it's just so
Can
hard.
you just sometimes take it? I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I would do. That's what I used to do.
Well,
How
I
long
think
have you
that-
been in school for this? How long have you?
this?
Yeah, total since you graduated high school.
I graduated in 2015 and I took a year off, so that's like
Don't make me do math.
yeah.
So math isn't one of your courses that
Don't make me do
No.
math, Rebecca. I don't want to.
Probably like 5 years, more than
That's
it should
a long
be,
time.
because
Well, I don't know. The medical people.
I've been
stay
doing
in
half time. I've been doing
tons.
part time and full time combination depending on what year.
Yeah. Well, you're almost done. So I mean,
Yeah.
I think it would be worth to just keep doing what you're doing. You can complain to us as much as you want. Complain. This fucking sucks. I
I can
hate
work on
this
my
book.
escape plan. That will
Yeah.
motivate me.
Just take out your anger in this safe environment here with us, and then maybe that'll release enough stress and boredom so that you can be like, okay, now what do you want me to learn, book? You stupid
you
book.
can text me during the day. I mean,
Yeah.
half the
me
time
too.
I'm not doing anything, but
Be
you
like,
know,
fucking
that's-
hate this book.
I feel bad though. I don't want to complain. I complain a lot.
Oh, honey,
complain-
who do you think you are?
Yeah.
A saint? You think you're not human?
Yeah.
Why shouldn't you be able to complain?
Well, I mean, to other people, like, usually I try to like.
Do you know how many
Write it
people
all
call
out.
me every day complaining about stupid shit? It is a human thing, and it's good. It's healthy. It's like eating or having sex or working
that's-
out or drinking
if
water.
if
You gotta
did a
release
search-
that.
If you drove down any street, like especially in Asia, like let's say Cambodia, Phnom Penh, and if you listen to the women there, you know what they're all doing? They're complaining.
Yeah.
You know, if you get into a
Like,
cab, the guy's
fucking
complaining
bizarre.
about the prime minister. They're complaining about it's a human part of the human condition. And of course, we don't want to promote complaining. We want to promote, you know,
But,
the opposite of it.
Yeah.
But it's real.
Yeah, within reason.
So there must be a reason for it, right, Kristen?
Yeah, it's part of
to relieve
survival.
the
Mental
stress.
survival.
Yeah.
You should know this stuff. You're studying in the medical field. Don't you
Yeah.
know that stress can kill you? So if you
Yeah.
don't,
But she's not studying psychology.
well,
I wish I
maybe
was
she
studying
should.
psychology. That would be my
You
major
should.
if I had $30,000, but I do not.
Don't you have? Can't you get a loan? I mean, come on. You're
It
pretty.
would be a loan on top of how long I've already been to school, and it's like
So what?
I decided I love psychology way too late in my academic career.
My
Take
God,
one
you're like,
I
class.
already like
well,
art, so it's
you
like
have
I
so
might as well
much more
finish this major and then
You're like, well, I made a decision a long
Art,
time ago.
yeah.
Now I can't change it because that's what I decided a long time ago. Well, careful with that too. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
we are free. We are free. You could quit everything and start something totally different. You
very
could.
true. But
How long do you think we have?
$30,000 a debt.
Nothing is guaranteed in life, and money is made up. We need it right now because it's our currency. It's how we buy stuff.
And she's writing a book about vampires, which she
Yeah.
won't finish, but if she did,
She's
you know,
gonna finish it.
She
She's
might
gonna
have
finish
won't
it.
sell
We
it.
should talk. We
She's
should talk
gonna
about.
finish it.
I
should
came to
talk
a
about any-
conclusion. I came to a conclusion. Complaining. Wait, complaining's good. Wow. No, complaining to my fiance,
In
who for some
doses.
reason became a philosopher and like talked me out of my mindset.
That's a good
about it.
spouse. That's a good spouse.
He is. He is good. He's,
I have to do that a lot with my spouse
Mhm.
and other people.
yeah. Sometimes they know things. Who would have guessed? I had a really good day writing about an idea I had, but then I was like, I don't want to tell you though, because then it will like ruin the magic, and
Okay.
I'll wait until it's like a full idea. And he's like, no, you should tell people because, you know, you should process, you should be willing to hear, especially you guys, because I love you
Well, you
guys.
just have to be careful who you tell it to.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can tell
yeah.
us stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't have to record it. You can just tell.
But I try to not tell.
But even if you don't have something to say that I wanted to hear, you're not trying to be mean about it. You're just
Oh, for sure.
telling me, you know. And I should be willing to express that because it might better my ideas.
Your art is amazingly expressive, and it's very primal and sexual, which means you do have a rich inner life. And if you don't have a safe place to talk about that rich inner life, it could go batshit nuts one way, or you could totally just embrace the awesome goddess inside you and be like, you know what? I'm going to do this, and I'm going to finish that book, and I'm going to become a nurse and a mom and whatever the frick I want, because
How about this?
Do all of them at once.
why not?
How about a vampire nurse
Yeah,
in school
I love it.
makes a decision. She's
Love it.
trying to get through, so now we know what the character wants. But all these other vampires keep interrupting her and trying to talk her out of it. Just, actually, they want her to become a nurse so they
They could get free blood. Yeah.
Free blood. I love the hook. I love the hook.
Yeah.
Now we got something.
Yeah. And she's best friends with a detective that
Yeah.
hunts bad guys and eats them.
Yeah.
Makes their bad guy friends watch.
And
Unholy Blood
he's
is about
got
a college student vampire who meets a detective who's trying to stop vampires from taking over the world.
Okay.
this
It's
vampire
I
Too
love things
late.
like that. No, not too late.
Raises-
That's good. People
raises
love
vampire
that.
horses.
I like that.
and,
Vampire
Horses.
yeah, vampire horses, and
No.
sneaks them into the regular horse running, like running a Belmont, and the other horses don't realize that these are vampire horses.
They bite their ankles till they bleed out while they're running.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, I have to tell you guys the idea I came up with now.
Wait, I have to pee.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Can I take a quick two
Yes.
minute?
We can pause.
2-minute?
Hey guys, we're
Hey,
back from
Kristen's
our
back.
very short break.
Thank you for that. Now, to pick up where we left off. Rebecca, please continue.
I want you guys to be honest. And,
Okay.
Don't
I'll
just
stop
be nice.
lying
Don't
and
just
be
go,
honest
oh,
now.
I like it. Be like, ooh, that's oof,
I'm going to be brutal.
So does that mean that, like, we
If I
haven't
hate
been
it.
honest?
Yeah, no. No.
About who?
I'm just.
What'd you
Don't
say,
feel
Dad?
bad. Don't.
What did you say, Dad?
Well, people will do that. They'll say to me, honestly, what, you haven't been honest the whole time? They say, no,
That's
I
a
want you
good
to be
point.
honest.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's a good
well, that's why I said I'm going to stop lying to you, and now I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Oof.
I get it, though, because you're being serious now.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Tell us.
In my mythical world, because everybody always has a gimmick, right? Like, oh, vampire secret society, or like, you can go a different route, like,
You don't have to explain
Hardcore
it, just
doctors.
tell it.
Bless. Well, I gotta give you some context. What's it called? It was a Netflix original series. It's called Bless. It's like magic's everywhere. There's also Anita Blake, Vampire Slayer, or whatever.
and the
Where it
magician.
was like, yeah, where it was a comic book and also an actual. It was a novel turned into a comic book, which is kind of an interesting direction. Never
Mhm.
seen anything go that way. But my magic world, I was thinking about making it where, because I don't like the idea that nobody knows about magical creatures. Like, you've never heard of it, but they're everywhere. There's like, you could walk into the wrong alley and it would just be magical all of a sudden, right? But somehow it's still like not public knowledge. So I was thinking about making it in the 20th century. Most magical creatures and mythical things have died out, kind of. Like, there's maybe, because you know how we have protected forests and protected stuff, so maybe
Oh,
there's
yeah.
like
I love it already. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
there's like a national protected forest of like for magical creatures, and maybe some of
Right.
it's commercial, like in the 1920s,
Hey,
werewolves.
let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
When Chris and I got it, it was just one short log line. All that other crap that you're saying is kind of annoying,
I'm sorry.
because I don't know about all that other stuff,
Yeah.
and you don't need to set it up. When you said there's a a national forest for these creatures. That's a great idea. Start with that and just go.
I thought you were going to say, Dad, I thought you were going to point out, you just said magical forest, and Kristen's literally been designing one for like 10 years. I have literally designed a magical forest for magical creatures to live in. The part that got me the most was that, there are all these magical creatures, everybody knows that, right?
Yeah.
And then you moved on to say, no, I love that, because you're saying they're real. And then you moved on to say, but now, most of them have died out. So there's certain parts of the world that still could hide them successfully.
Yeah.
Bam.
I was thinking maybe like the vampires, like the last vampire that was recorded was killed in like the 1800s, and his ashes could be in the I made up a really cute word for it. The Museum of Unnatural Antiquities in New York,
Yeah.
So like a museum for the leftover magical stuff.
I love
And
it.
maybe some of that stuff could be used in warfare, but like the dangerous monsters, people mostly killed off. Like, 'cause you see like Van Helsing, like they're always killing the vampires.
Yeah.
So what if people think they're all dead, and then the main character becomes a vampire and is like, they're not all dead? What if they're like the secret elite cult of? Maybe they're all the politicians. What if that's where all the vampires went?
Hey, I got an idea.
You just think they're dead.
Right next to your museum could be the museum for all the parts that are missing on all the statues in the other museums.
Yeah.
They're always missing the arms. This museum.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they just return them to the other museum? Dad!
No, I want to have a museum of missing parts.
That would be a funny TV show, because it could go on for a long time. Just have willful suspension of disbelief that everyone doesn't realize that.
What if instead of seeing a doctor, you see a warlock? Because he'll just make you up a potion.
Yeah, hello, witch doctor, warlock.
Kristen does see a warlock. That's where she goes. That's where you used to go get your teeth done, right? Warlocks.
Yeah. Why do you think I'm eating all these weird things lately? I gotta transform.
Well, I like this. I mean, you can go off in a million directions, and like when you said the concept, both Chris and I got it in an instant.
I
you
love
don't need to set up context, really. You don't need that.
Yeah, you don't need to say
I
that.
do have a problem with rambling on. Like, all my friends tell me that when I try to tell them an idea, I fluff it. It's like I'm impacting your mind.
You don't need to fluff. I mean, some fluff is good, though, because I like context. I like a little bit of information. But I totally got it as soon as you started telling us what it was. I got instantly, and I was like, yes, I want to watch this now.
Think of it like that's your log line. Then you've got your synopsis of what it is, and then you've got a treatment, because that's basically, when you do a screenplay, you've got your log line, your treatment, and your synopsis, which is really what the whole story is about. There's where you put all your all that backstory, but don't tell me the backstory right off. Hook us.
And riddle me this, friend. So what magical creatures do still exist?
Unicorn.
Unicorns are in zoos.
Okay.
Mermaids and stuff like that.
What was the other one?
The really famous fancy ones are like in zoos, but they're like on a lot of them are on like the endangered species list, because people were hunting unicorn ivory to extinction because it's magical properties, obviously.
What else other than unicorns? Vampires?
Like the classic fantasy mythical creatures you'd see in the Middle Ages, kind of like werewolves, vampires, and then like
pixies.
Like, there's that magical forest idea, but they don't like it's like a thing that exists. It's not like part of the plot necessarily. Like how Yosemite National Park is protected land.
No, I'm talking like for real though. Which magical creatures do you believe still exist?
Oh, in real life? I don't know.
Because you made me believe that you knew something that I didn't, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I want to know more. You don't have to tell me all the details, but you got to tell me more. Like that feeling where you were like, oh, you know how like magical creatures still exist, but they're almost dead, right?
Yeah, they're
Or
extinct.
you said it was so matter of factly, and I was like,
Yeah, like there's
yes.
a protective forest in Mongolia. That
Yeah, I
very
was
few
like,
people have been.
tell me more, wise one. Oh my God! Like
I mean,
I felt like people.
they're still finding stuff in the bottom of the oceans all the time.
Oh,
You know,
hell yeah.
giant squid.
Giant humans.
Where's
Like,
that forest?
They haven't found a
in
giant
Africa
human.
that-
yes, they have.
A giant human?
Yeah,
like,
you haven't seen those, Larry?
humongous humans.
Yeah,
Yes.
giant.
They're not
Wait, I'm gonna pull
giant.
that
They're
up.
8 feet tall. Or
Yeah. No, not
That's
8
not
feet tall.
giant.
Not
If
8
you-
feet tall, bigger
No, bigger
Okay.
than that.
30 feet tall? There's no human that's 30 foot tall.
Wait,
Not-
you'll see. Wait, I'll show you giant human skeleton. Like, I've seen that, Kristen. That's very cool.
You've seen what I've gone down some
You
rabbit
guys have
holes.
been reading the thing that Mike Myers' mother reads.
Oh, I love Mike Myers from Austin Powers.
Yeah. No. I married an axe murderer.
I know what you meant.
Do you see
Okay.
this? Do you see the... Look at this person excavating this giant
Oh
skeleton.
my God.
Yeah,
Where
that's
is
huge.
that?
This one?
Irish.
I don't know if this one's real, actually. No.
Click
no,
on
no.
the one next to the lady and the dudes to the left. Yeah, click that one.
I think that's a normal one.
Well, that's only about an 8 or 9 foot tall.
Yeah. But look at that one. Like that.
That's humongous.
Yeah.
That's got to be fake. Huh?
National
Some of these are
Geographic.
definitely fake, but some of them
National
like
Geographic.
Look at
like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know everything we think we know.
Well, what's
Yeah.
that fake sign
There's a
up there, Kristen?
conspiracy where they're covering this stuff up. They put them
Yeah.
in the back of museums so people don't see them.
Well, yeah, and I mean,
Look at
I'm
that guy.
curious because NASA finally had to like release stuff or whatever.
No, the government's finally
Finally.
admitting that there are unidentified flying objects. Duh.
And they were right. Like most people wouldn't have been able to handle that kind of truth, but some of us can and would really find hope and inspiration knowing about these things if they were real.
Slow down. Thailand.
The skeleton of a
Thailand?
giant who
Giant
died
who
battling
died
a large
battling a large
serpent was found in Caribbean, Thailand.
In
in
2017.
Do you see that? Like,
Okay.
look at
send
the serpent and then the
me
giant.
this.
They were fighting and they died together.
Okay.
Okay, I gotta get. Whoops. How do I get that?
Here, wait.
Send
I'll
that to
it
me.
you.
She's sending it. Hold on.
Oh,
I have too many tabs
what's
open.
all this?
My
And go back to the other tab. There we go.
Yeah,
So cool.
just
So
send me
cool.
the link to that.
I did.
You
send
did?
it.
Okay,
I
great.
emailed it to you.
Because
as a
I can
reply to
use
the
this.
email
I
that
can
you
use
emailed
this
to the podcast.
in my stealing mouse story. Because
You
in my
could.
phone. Yes.
In Thailand.
Perfect.
Yeah. And it was somebody really found it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like
Look at that skeleton of that snake. That's horrifying.
they died in each other's arms. Like who killed who? Some third party probably killed them both.
Yeah.
They just fell like that.
Honestly, true conspiracy theory, I believe just everything they tell us is a lie, and there's just all this cool stuff.
Yeah, I totally
You know
believe
what?
that.
We
Men in
need to
Black
go
is real.
back to the secret society because, you know.
Men in
What
Black
if
is
the secret
real.
society in my book is vampires? What if the reason why everything's dying out, all the magical stuff, is because they're just going to kill it all off, so they just think the world's normal. But really, they're just running everything. What if they run the blood banks? Huh? Yeah.
Well,
Hello.
here's the other thing I totally believe in is there are way more invisible laws than there are visible laws. You know,
Yeah.
gravity's one of those invisible laws, and you can do everything you want to try to fight against it, but it's real. Gravity is real, but it's an invisible law. What is it? You know, you can't really explain it without using invisible terms.
Also,
Yeah.
justice and other
or you
emotions and
walk
concepts
outside
like that, like intangible, but
Yeah,
they're like
so there's
as
a lot
real
of
as
stuff.
real can be.
Like, how did that table get thrown over right in front of me when no one else was home outside
Suspicious.
with a non-windy day? The show The Magicians really opened my heart because I was like, oh, exactly, this is exactly what I was talking about, and they've made a show about it, and people are watching it, and they're not burning
which is
Yeah.
whatever the hell. Yeah, like they're cool. Like people are ready to hear more of this stuff now. Like everyone's terrified of magic and witches, and they burned everyone that could do anything cool.
I like thinking about, maybe this would be a witch, but thinking of a muse, a creative muse that you can call
sorcery.
Well, it's not sorcery.
I'm making fun of the people that would be like, "Oh, a muse is sorcery."
Oh yeah. Well.
Oh, you're inspired by an invisible force. You must be a demon or something. Like they
Actually,
just.
Hello, Satan, is that you?
A daemon was a positive word at one time.
There's all kinds of demons, according to the magicians too, and they live among us. They can do godlike things, but some of them are pretty shitty. And some of them are cool, but most of them are pretty freaking conniving and just.
What if in the book haunted houses are like historical museums? Like you could walk through them and like people visit them on Halloween. Like, ooh, there's really ghosts in here.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Well, just a couple miles from here, you can.
Love it.
When Christin didn't get to go see it, but I sent her pictures of it. Logan hasn't even gone to see it, but it's right up the street. There's a house on this hill that when you walk into this house, it's slid down, and when you walk into it, the gravity's all weird, and it's not an optical illusion. I mean, they've had, scientists from Stanford try to figure it out. They just go, I don't know, maybe there's some anomaly in the ground that's causing
Oh
this.
my God!
You
But
think?
literally, there's a lot of unexplainable things.
Portals.
It's up the street. It's not far away.
Energy force field portals.
Yeah.
Wormholes.
Rabid cats. Post-traumatic squirrels. They're all
Flying cats.
Yeah.
Cats that juggle other cats.
Juggling cats.
The world is full of magic. You know what? Remember, Rebecca? I reached out. My feelings were hurt so bad the other day because I experienced a little tiny bit of magic. I was told. Okay, real quick. So it was my friend's birthday. I brought everyone glow sticks. Oh, fun. Yay. And then at the end of the night, I was like, here's a tip. Put your glow stick in the freezer and it'll last longer. And one of my friends was like, that's bullshit. That doesn't work. And I was like, challenge accepted. So guess how many days it's been? Well, today it's been 30 days and it's still glowing.
What?
But I texted a picture of this glowing glow stick to the birthday person and was like, look, it's still glowing after 20 days. And they were like, you need to stop. It's intervention time, Christin. And I was like, what? Wow. Intervention for what? I was like, intervention for what? Magic? Like letting me believe in something teeny that's awesome that wouldn't hurt anyone? And they're like, it's time to stop, babe. It's time to stop, honey. And I was like, it's time for you to stop calling me babe and honey, because that's the most condescending, mean person line ever. And I didn't talk to him for 2 weeks because he shut down the magic side of life. And I'm so sick of people doing that. Just like, oh, Christin, that's ridiculous. That'll never happen. The earth is flat. Type of bullshit. Who the fuck do they think they are? They know everything that's going on, invisible. And
he was obviously wrong in that situation.
This wasn't even a ghost story. This was just a freaking glow stick that still glows. I've had birthday balloons. I've had birthday balloons. When people buy me Mylar balloons, they still stayed flying after 6 months after my birthday because I thought it was a tiny bit of magic because I love seeing that kind of magic. It's tiny, it's small, it doesn't do anything for anyone, but I come in and there it is, still happily flowing.
You know what magic is? You and I.
Energy, I think.
We're magic. We're there's no plug-in for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is amazing. The body is mad. Everything is mad. The whole way. And, we try to figure it out and we think, well, it's the compound of the organic.
The people that tell other people that they have it all figured out are the most scared people because they are terrified that there's something they don't understand that exists. I can't handle that, so I've got to shut everyone else down because I don't want to look at that. I don't want to think about that. Oh, if there is a God, I'm fucked. That's probably what they're thinking. Yeah. Because I hope there's accountability. I hope there's record keeping. I hope I get to talk to the creator when I die. I hope I get to talk to everyone that was supposedly a saint or an angel. I want to talk to them all because I want that.
Okay, Christin, you will talk.
Right? I wish, because most people are like, oh, I don't want anything recorded by the government. I'm like, do you know, as a woman, how many times my ass would have been saved if someone was listening at all times? I wish someone was listening at all times. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh, magic doesn't exist. Yeah, right. On that note,
we gotta wrap this up.
Yeah.
I'll tell you another thing.
I'll tell you another goddamn thing. Yeah.
No, I love that. I mean,
Tell you what, I'm gonna go in the freezer and get my glow sticks out right now. I'm done with that shit.
yeah.
That ain't working.
You want to see the glow stick?
I completely agree with it. I think it's like pure arrogance to declare like
go get the
you know
glow
all there
sticks.
is to know, and like learning is stopped by like age 30, and you're just like, yeah, I'm just like so big brain now in the universe. Yeah, no nuances to me. I mean, like basically it's all like.
I'm just a stupid girl. What do I know? Sorry, you big strong man who thinks they know everything. Like, I won't name his name, but Jesus, give me a freaking break.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna go get that glow stick before we
Get
say
the glow
goodbye.
stick and then we'll wrap it up and go.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll glow out of here.
Okay.
Glow out.
We'll glow out. I like this idea though that you're kind of, you know, what's great is you've already got kind of a basis of a lot of your, you know, your story, your background, your characters and who they are. So adding, now you just add the story to it all. And these are set piece scenes that you can put in your fun and games section of your story.
Yeah, and I was thinking of doing, because everybody hates like big walls of text of like the history of the world, right? Like I tried to read 1,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and it was a good book, but it starts with back in this time when this happened, and then also this happened, and blah blah blah. And I was thinking if I wanted to do something like that, I could take little blurbs of what it is, like in the Natural History Museum, like at the start of a chapter, like in quotes, I could have like a little blurb of like the world building history.
You know what that does? That centers your reader into time and place. It gives them, they know now, you know, I'm sort of, I've got a place for my mind to go with it. So that's a good idea. I like that.
Thank you. I'm excited for that too. And I can't decide if I want to keep it a book. I feel like this particular idea would be better as a book, but I do want to start leaning towards trying to make comics more, because
comics. Okay.
I'm so visual.
Yeah.
I feel sad when I can't.
We'll do it. I mean, that's good. That seems to be the direction. Okay, is there a glow stick or not?
I got the glow
The
stick.
lights are off.
Okay.
Hold on, it's frozen, so it's gotta warm up real quick. Hold on.
Yeah.
It would help if all these lights were off.
You could put a blanket over your screen.
I turned my light off, Kristen, but it doesn't glow.
Turn your light off, Dad.
I'll turn my light off too.
Yeah, turn your light off. We believe in you so much, Kristen. We're turning all of the lights off.
You got it.
Warm
Come
it
on,
up.
glow. Come on, glow.
You still got a real bright
You see it
screen.
on your face, kinda.
Well, I can see it.
Here, maybe if I put it in the.
Into the dark. Into the abyss.
It's so faint now. Wait, I can see it in my hands. Can you guys see it? No.
Hold it up to the camera like that.
And we can't even see your hand.
As soon as I let the light from the.
Put a blanket over your monitor so it covers up the light.
Yeah, cover your monitor. It's
Yeah.
too much light on the monitor, Kristen.
Perfect.
That's perfect.
I
Now,
did it,
where's
Dad.
Yeah, no, it's perfect.
did it,
You
Dad.
gotta put the glow stick in front of it.
Well, it's still got.
Oh, I can see. You can see it glowing. I can see it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be
Cool.
able to see it that far away.
There. You can see
Okay,
that.
Mr. Man. There you go.
Yeah, in your
Yeah,
face.
whoever that was.
Yes.
It
Mr.
looks like she's being born, and this is the.
Yeah.
Wow, come out and get the glow stick, baby. Come party.
It's
Right?
some strange fan fiction of our podcast.
Ah.
Yay!
Anyway, well, if I back up.
I'll tell you, we party on this On this podcast, we got glow sticks. And,
We don't have a party or what?
yeah,
Woo! Doing the wave.
got the wave thing going. We're there. Okay, guys, I want to call an end to this evening's
Wait,
festivity.
hold on. I got one more thing to show you.
No, please, not another glowworm. Anything, but if you have
Okay,
a
babe.
dancing squirrel,
No.
on the run,
Okay, babe. Okay, honey. Time to go. I can't show you any lower, but it's a lava lamp. Remember
not a
those?
lava lamp.
Remember those?
Yeah, I love that.
Hey,
This
is
the
it
lava
a
lamp.
real lava lamp?
Yeah.
You'd have been great
Really?
in the 60s, Kristen. You'd have been,
Oh, I know. I know.
you'd have been
I think
there.
I was in the 60s.
Well, with me, maybe, as a small.
Your weight.
No, I think I was. Oh, yeah. I was either carried around in you or I was busy living before I died in the 60s and came back. Who knows? I don't
I
know.
wasn't even born. I don't know
We
what
should
you-
end the podcast.
Yeah, and
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for joining us. Aw. Keep the magic alive, dummies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe you were anywhere near my good. Oh, Lord.